To take care of the uniform, we have to take care of the environment that the uniform lives. An effective SAR member has a fantastic support network. The spouse, partner, significant other, and the kids, they all make up the important matrix that is that network. They support us, and supporting those at home is something we can do, and the benefits are many.
It's important to understand that it's not just the SAR member that signs up for search and rescue. It's often our loved ones that experience the benefits and risks associated with being involved in search and rescue.
They have a vested interest in your time with search and rescue, but they're also the ones who are going to notice your absence when you're away at training or on SAR calls. So for your support network, it's really important that they get an education as to what your activities in search and rescue are going to look like. It's also important that they understand how they can support you better after those tough SAR calls. Your support network should understand the concept of a mental health continuum so that they can check in with you and see where you are. One thing you can do is understand where your stress levels are at any given time. We like to use the analogy of a stress bucket, with the bucket being empty at 0 and the bucket being full and overflowing at 10. Where's your bucket today? What empties your bucket? What are those things that fill your bucket? Understanding those elements of yourself is going to be really vital when you get to those tough SAR calls. It's really valuable for your support network to understand how they can help you empty your stress bucket and not add to it at the same time. Let's take a look now at the ways that you as a search and rescue member can make your support network even better.
Engage in an education and awareness session. Through our Critical Incident Stress Management program, we offer a series of presentations that can help SAR members and their support systems familiarize themselves with what is involved in search and rescue, about critical incident stress, and how we can help support ourselves and those around us.
Does your support network understand the different tasks that you're going to be asked to do and how you prepare for those through training? Sometimes those activities might have a perceived element of risk, and understanding how you're preparing to deal with those risks and hazards can set their mind at ease. Another really important thing to understand for your support network is, what kind of time commitment is it for you for search and rescue? What are those things at home that you are going to miss? That should be a negotiation between your support network and yourself, so that both have a clear understanding of the expectations. All that information is powerful and can help demystify what search and rescue looks like, how risky it really is, and what things are going to look like for you after a tough SAR call.
It's important to understand that your involvement in SAR is a bit of a negotiation for those around you, particularly those that you live with, because those time commitments are also impacting them as well. One of the tools that can be helpful for both the SAR member and the people supporting the SAR member is an agreement or a contract. For spouses, we call it a spousal contract, but this can look very different depending on who it is that's supporting you. For those supporting SAR members, the agreement offers an opportunity for discussion on things that are important to you. Talking about these types of things can help mitigate any conflict in the future.
When you come back from a SAR call that might have gone a little long, had an emotional element to it, or stretched you in some way, it's really important for that network to understand how they can best support you. For example, what are the things that you're going to be able to talk about? Are there things that you can't talk about? It's not that you're withholding that information from them. Sometimes you might even be protecting them from the experiences that you had that you don't want to share with them so that they don't have that trauma. Transitioning back to your regular life might take a little bit of time. Should you negotiate how much time that would look like? Is it 30 minutes? Is it an hour? For you to park the search and rescue activities that you've had, to kind of take off all the different experiences that you've had during that SAR task, put on your home life clothes, and be able to integrate yourself into that life again. It's also important for the SAR community to remember our support network at home, while you've been gone on a SAR task, has had life go on as usual. Maybe the garbage disposal unit has broken down, the dogs run away, there were problems getting the groceries. All those elements of life have continued for them while you've been gone, and when you get back, they may want to share those stories with you or ask you to help with those problems. It's really important before you get to that stage to have that conversation of what that return to regular life is going to look like, so both sides have a clear understanding and have no false expectations. Every part of our life needs maintenance. Just like in search and rescue, the mobile command center, your UTV, the snow machines, at the beginning of the seasons, they need to be checked on, they need regular maintenance throughout, and then if they're going to be set aside for a season, they need to be decommissioned. The relationships that we have in our lives also need those check-ins and that regular maintenance. It's vital as a search and rescue member that you work hard to maintain those regular relationships, because sometimes when we put a lot of demands on them by being away on SAR training or SAR tasks for short periods of time, or if we're away on an extended SAR task, that can start to impact those relationships to those we hold dear. So as a search and rescue member, think about those things that you do to enhance and build the relationships that are important to you, and make sure that you prioritize that as you go forward with search and rescue and when you're at home. Now, for your support network, what are those things that they can do to help support you? So it's important that you have that negotiation in terms of what search and rescue is going to look like in your life and how it's going to impact the relationships you have with those that are important to you. Search and rescue is going to require you to be away from home. For training, maybe 2 hours or 3 hours a week, but with SAR calls, they come at unpredictable times and may take you away for extended periods as well. So what is that going to look like? Is it okay for you to miss birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, or are there going to be some that are no-goes? It's really vital that you have that conversation up front and before, so that there's a clear understanding on both sides. It's really important as a search and rescue member to remember this. I struggle with it too. You need to remember you can always say no to any SAR task at any time.
Have a demobilization process. When we come back from a task, we have an operational debrief. We put away our equipment, we make sure that we're ready for that next call. Make sure that you're doing the same on an emotional level. Some kind of ritual or routine that helps move you from the task and operational mode into home.
Another way the support network for the search and rescue member can be there is to understand what are the stressors in your life and how can they reduce those. What are those things that you enjoy and how can they make sure that you're able to do those, especially after a tough SAR call? And then how can they help maintain your regular relationships with them? And then in terms of that contract with your significant other, your partner, your spouse, your family member, or that important person to you, it's really vital that they understand that they have an equal part in that. When you come back from a tough SAR call, maybe they understand we're not going to ask about some of the details on the SAR call. What they might focus on is how can we support you better? What is it that you need? They can also be aware they might be watching for some of those changes that you might be going through in the days after, and also have a plan for how you're going to deal with it and how they can support you through that. It's really valuable as well if your support network understands when you come back from a SAR call and you're grouchy or irritable, you're not sleeping well, if you don't feel like eating the meals that they've prepared you, if you really don't want to engage with them or the activities that you usually do, and perhaps you're preoccupied with the SAR task, that has nothing to do with them. They don't need to own any part of that. Understanding that those symptoms are a result of the stresses that you went through to be able to do that SAR task is really important. And after those tough SAR calls, it's really valuable that your support network understands how they can access supports for you, because they really want to see you staying engaged in search and rescue, being ready for the next SAR call, and continuing to be part of their life.
You, as a search and rescue volunteer, are BC Search and Rescue's most valuable asset. And taking care of yourself is vitally important. If you're struggling at any time, you or your family members can call 1-800-663-3456. Take care of yourselves.